For those who are tuning in for the first time, hello everyone. I am Maneet Maloo, a life coach for children and an NLP practitioner. In my podcast, we dive into the journey of inspiring individuals from diverse walks of life. We uncover their quest, challenges, and the wisdom they have gathered all throughout their journey towards growth and success in life. Parenting is one of the most rewarding yet challenging journeys we embark upon. But what if I told you understanding your child's mind could make this journey smoother, more fulfilling, and even joyful? Today, we have someone who has spent his life decoding child psychology for parents and helping parents to navigate through this incredible adventure. Harpreet Singh, the founder of The Curious Parent, a groundbreaking initiative that simplifies child psychology for parents. Through his work, he has empowered countless families to build more deeper and meaningful connections with their children. He has insights challenging the traditional parenting methods, empowering a more empathetic and informed approach. Please welcome Harpreet Singh.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah, amazing to have you with us today. The Curious Parent is quite a unique venture. And what has empowered you to start this? What made you to get onto this path?
One interesting thing which you said is that I've spent my life doing it, which actually is untrue in the sense that I actually only got interested in understanding children myself in the last 3 years. Before that, I was interested in understanding adults. Why
Right.
people do what they do has always been, or what makes people do what they do has always been interesting to me. I used to run a company which used to work with college graduates, and I realized that college graduates don't change. Around the same time, our daughter was born, and one thing led to another, and eventually the understanding came that the first 8 years of life are important. That is where the basic neural network of your brain is set. That is how we respond for the rest of our lives until we choose to change. That is how the Curious Parent was born.
All right. So many parents struggle with discipline versus understanding. How do parents need to balance it, and what is your take on it?
I think if parents understood that discipline can be done without hitting or shouting at a child, that is an important thing.
But what if they don't listen? I mean, I too have 2 children, but they don't listen.
So, this is a complex question. Parenting actually was easier about 20-30 years ago because junk food availability was less, kids could play more, screen time was less,
More joint families.
more joint families, more kids were there. Hence, parenting was easier. Now, I think now it has become difficult because we need to say no to protect our children from agenda of the world.
Right.
The world wants our child to be a consumer. We want our child to be a creator. So we need to say no. I think saying no is critical. The question he asked is why, what if my child doesn't listen?
Yeah.
So
It
now,
is important to set boundaries, right?
yeah, absolutely. Now, the question is how do you set boundaries?
Correct.
It depends on the age of the child.
Yeah.
If the child is less than 2 years of age, well, you are the boundary. The child has to be with you. There's no question of listening, not listening. The child doesn't have the attention span. Between 3 to 4 years, the child needs to be reminded again and again. That is the only way to do it. Obviously, if you slap him, he will have a good permanent reminder, but it will be a long permanent reminder, which you can avoid
Correct.
if you have a little bit of calm and patience. If you have done this well, then from 5 year onwards, in some ways, no, just saying no will help. If the parent has been consistent in setting the boundary, if the parent operates according to mood, for example, if that is my phone now, I'm seeing my phone,
Yeah.
my child comes, the child is disturbing me, I feel, because I have my time, or I'm talking to you and the child comes here right now. So, what will you do? Because you want to do this,
Yeah.
you will say no. Then the child comes again, then what will you do?
Please wait.
Please wait. Then the child
Let me
comes again,
finish.
then what do you do?
I'll get irritated, frustrated.
Then what do you do?
Please wait for some time. I need to finish this.
But they come again, then what do you do?
Probably give something, keep the child busy.
Absolutely, right?
Yeah.
But
कुछ भी दे दो according to the age.
according to the age. But
Yeah.
sure.
Toddlers है तो बर्तन दे दो, toys दे दो.
I was doing a podcast, I will not have the child around only. But essentially, most parents at this point will give a mobile
Correct.
and say this is okay. So the child understands that अगर मैं enough परेशान करूँगा तो मुझे जो चाहिए वो मुझे मिल जाएगा. Right. So two things have converged. We have less children. We are living in nuclear families. Parents are busy. This has converged with the screens coming. And because of that, kids and adults both are seeing
Does
the screen.
technology make it harder or easier for parents?
Look, with everything, like for example, is sugar good or bad?
Bad.
Is bad, but I'm saying we need sugar.
Yeah, we need sugar.
Right.
We need it in our body.
We need it in our body.
Some
So
quantity.
some is required.
Yeah.
It is because of technology we are able to shoot this. It is because of
Correct.
technology other people will be able to see this. So technology is useful. It has led to a lot of progress in the world. But if a child gets involved with technology early, which means if they are seeing mobile or screen early, then their brain development will not happen as it is supposed to happen. 30 minutes a day, no problem. Okay, 5 hours a day is a problem. If parents can understand this much, that is enough.
Which is the correct age for children to watch screens? Because nowadays, parents are giving it to them. 1 साल का हुआ नहीं, 2 साल का हुआ नहीं, दे दो. सीख रहा है.
So I'm saying before the age of 2, there should be no screen.
Okay.
You want to FaceTime with your dadi, dadu, nanu, nanu who are living somewhere, that is okay.
All right.
Okay. After the age of 2, I would suggest till the age of 12, if you can keep it to 30 minutes to 60 minutes, that is enough. And that anyways happens in the day. So more than that, it is not as if the child sees 2 hours, the child will go mad. That is not going to happen. But for our brain development, a child needs to be involved with life. Brain development happens by doing with hands, by using our senses. If a child is not able to do enough of that, you will see maybe at the age of 4, they are not going to speak well. You will see at the age of 5, they're still not walking properly.
Okay.
A lot of different, they will have anger issues, etc. All of those will start coming later in life.
So you worked with so many parents and children and you have impacted so many lives. Has there been a case study that has impacted you deeply? Could you share one of them?
Look, the question you asked is that has anything impacted me
you, yeah.
deeply?
Yeah.
Okay. That seems to think of it as that has to be a big case that happened,
Yeah.
which should lead to deep impact. I genuinely think parenting happens in the small moments that we do every day. And I think these are the small, small moments which create the child. For example, one story that I can think of is that in our building lift I used to go, and there would be a parent who would be with their child. The child would be crying, I don't want to go to school, I don't want to go to school. And the parent will, to keep him quiet, would say, okay, we'll not go to school. And the child will be quiet. And then they will get out of the lift, still take to the school, and will start crying again. This used to happen every day. So once I was talking to that parent, and the parent said, even in the evening, he's crying, I don't want to go to school. So to put him to sleep, I tell him we will not go to school. So he keeps quiet. And then again, the thing starts. So I said to the parent, why don't you stop lying to him? If you want to send him to school, you just tell him, we are going to go to school. That is it. If that is the situation in your house where you have to go to work and the child has to go to school, then at least don't lie. Tell him we have to go to school. The parent did that, and in 2 days, the child stopped crying. So these simple things, I think, which if a parent can be mindful of, will create a deep impact on the child in the long run.
Bringing clarity to the child that this is what has to be done. Right.
Yeah, clarity is useful for children. Also useful for everybody.
Correct. What is then one parenting trend you would like to change?
I think gentle parenting as it is understood
Yeah.
is as it is understood. It is not, gentle parenting is fine, but it is understood incorrectly, because in terms of gentle parenting, parents tend to give in and say, we have to let the child do whatever the child wants.
Yeah.
That is not what gentle parenting is.
Correct.
Right. I think a skill that parents don't understand is how to say no with love. We only know how to say no by giving a slap or by shouting. Gentle parenting involves saying a lot of no to the child. So that is something parents should understand.
So basically with a lot of authority that no, this is not supposed to be done. Is that the way?
I'm saying depends on what the situation is. If it is the question of safety of the child,
Yeah.
the child is going to fall or something is going to happen, then you can shout also and say, no, don't go there.
Yeah.
Okay. And otherwise you can hold the child and you can say, no, we will not do this. Okay. And if depending on the age of the child is small, you can pick him up. If the child is slightly older, you can hold the hand. So whatever is required to be done, one can do, you can say gently. But we need to be able to say no to our children. That is important.
How can we bring about emotional intelligence in kids from an early age?
I would think of it as being able to being able to be in any situation without resorting to extreme emotions. You know, whatever life throws at us, I will be able to get out of it. I think that is emotional intelligence for me.
Right.
Um, Children learn emotional intelligence automatically from people around them. How my father behaves, how my mother behaves, how my people around me react to situations. The child is automatically like a sponge learning. If we want our children to be emotionally intelligent, we have to be good examples and we have to not agree to whatever the child says, because going through frustration on hearing a no is part of developing emotional resilience. So that frustration has to remain. That frustration should not be diverted using a screen or anything else. The child has to go through the frustration and feel calmer in the end and okay with that I can't get everything in this world. Um, or the child has to be allowed, the child is playing with these cups.
Yeah.
The child has to be allowed to play with these cups for a long enough time as the child wants to for emotional resilience to develop.
Correct. Are there any misconceptions do parents have regarding their children's behavior?
I think a big misconception is that children are resilient.
Yeah.
कि बच्चों के साथ कुछ भी कर लो वो ठीक है, there is no problem. The reason this misconception I think arises is because children adapt very easily. Their brain adapts very easily to whatever situation. If the child is brought up with animals, the child will become like an animal.
Yeah.
Right? So children adapt. Doesn't mean that is the resilience that they have. But do they adapt well? Do they adapt so that they can become nice, loving human beings who are capable in this world? That is not true. So children need a loving environment. Children are resilient only because our brain is such, but that adaptation might not be great for them.
My God, that is too much intense. So, my next question to you is, how can parents create a safer space for their children?
How can parents create a safe space for children?
Yeah, in terms like to feel emotionally safe.
Nothing. I'm saying if you are a confident, capable adult, right, and you allow a child to pursue their curiosity, that is all children need. There's nothing else that a child needs. Then everybody wants to feel in control of their lives. So as long as the child is able to do enough of what they want, they'll be okay.
Have you come across a common mistake that parents make while disciplining their child?
I think the common mistake parents do when disciplining a child is, मुझे लगता है कि आप नो कम बोलो, लेकिन जब बोलो तब वो नो होना चाहिए. Then don't give in.
Parents shouldn't have a meltdown कि अरे ये रो रहा है इसको बुरा लग रहा है यार, नो नो.
हाँ, आई एम सेइंग वो आपने नो बोल दिया, फिर पेरेंट उसने रोना धोना शुरू कर दिया, फिर कुछ और हो गया, फिर अगर आपने उसके बाद गिव इन कर दिया और यू गिव व्हाटएवर इज रिक्वायर्ड, देन इट विल दैट इज नॉट डिसिप्लिन.
Right.
Right, this is one, and the other obviously is hitting. That is not a great way to discipline.
So, I personally believe that we do carry some genes from our parents. Some emotional trauma, some emotions is always there within us. So, when it comes to you, how have your parents dealt with you? How was your childhood?
I think my childhood was nice. Like, I have only fond memories of my childhood. I have my memory of my mother or father always being around. Obviously, my father went to work every day. So I think I've had a wonderful childhood, which is one reason I'm able to do what I'm able to do. I've got slapped, I think, couple of times, but not more than that. One of them when I was, I think, maybe 4 years old. One of them when I was maybe 18 years old. That is what I remember. But apart from that, it has been nice.
Your memory is pretty sharp because you remember the age.
Yeah. But I think otherwise, we carry our parents' genes.
Correct.
Those genes result in some physical attributes and some mental attributes, which we carry. Those genes will express themselves or not is dependent on what environment we get. Otherwise, we imbibe the same behavior that adults around us do.
So, what is your take on the digital screen time? That too much exposure, is it affecting the mental and emotional development of the child? Like some parents give it कि now अब हम थक गए, अब I cannot look at you, take care of you, give you time, I'm tired. Phone ले लो. And that goes on for 2 hours.
तो हम से आधे घंटे के लिए आप फ़ोन दे दो, दैट इज़ ओके। अगर आपको देना पड़ रहा है तो दे दो, ठीक है? 2 साल से बड़े बच्चे के लिए। बट अगर आप उससे ज़्यादा दे रहे हो, 1 घंटा, 2 घंटा, 3 घंटा, then there is going to be a problem. And what the parent has to avoid is to say, अरे तुम फ़ोन देखना छोड़ते ही नहीं हो, यू नो? बच्चा नहीं कर सकता इसमें कुछ। बच्चे का दिमाग अभी डेवलप नहीं हुआ है।
Right.
बच्चे के दिमाग में वो ब्रेक वाला पार्ट इज़ नॉट डेवलप्ड एंड द फ़ोन इज़ बीइंग मेड बाय पीपल who invested billions of dollars. So they have made it well.
Yeah.
So the child can't stop. Parents are tired, yes.
Yeah.
Then, and we want to do our work. We want to live in the city. We want to have only one child. Then we will feel tired. There is no option. So I think if you have this, which actually is our situation, like our family situation, then you build a community around yourself where the child can be involved with life. Children, baju walo ka bacha, being in a garden. Anything that you do which involves the child with life is important. Otherwise, you will feel tired.
I think you're absolutely correct. Is there any one parenting advice you think people should take more seriously?
I think every parent should deeply understand that the first 6 years of a child's life are genuinely important. I don't think any of us understand. I did not understand it till the time our daughter turned 4 years of age. If every parent can understand that the first 6 years of life truly matter in how the child will be shaped and how they will make decisions in life, I think that will be very helpful.
Like I also come from a child coaching background, and we've been trained that it is like a software which is building up in the child's mind. So it will come up in the child, whether it be good or bad. If the child has good experiences, it will come up in his.
They will come. We have no option. I'm saying the child will have no option. They will come up.
Amazing. So we have dig deep into Harpreet's journey so far, and I believe every child is unique, every child is different, and there has to be some decoding of actions and emotions. What is that behavior parents always misinterpret, which has an psychological reason behind it? How would you decode that?
I think if a child has a big emotion, for wanting something or anger or anything else, the parent generally resorts to, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? And I think it feels like to the parent that this child is either mad or something is wrong with this child.
Correct.
But why would you behave in this manner? Whereas if we can take a step back and understand that the question is not why, but what, which is what is making my child behave like this? That I think can be a big change, because then rather than focusing on the child, you can focus on the environment. And you can see whether the child has slept less, has seen too much screen, he has not spent enough time with you. You can actually come to a solution rather than focusing on the problem.
If children had their own secret language, what would it be? What would be their common phrase?
I think the common phrase would be, let me do.
All right.
Children want to do stuff. Children want to be involved with life. Children want to do things with their hands and feet. That would be their language. Don't make a child dependent on you. Show all the love in the world. Hug them, kiss them, whatever. That is extremely important. But a child wants to pull a chair away from the dining table. He wants to climb on the chair. He wants to get down from the chair. Let them do it. Don't be so afraid they will fall, etc., etc., etc. So children would say, let us do.
Amazing. If children had a guide or line books for adults on how to handle us, what would be the number one rule?
Handle us with love. I think that would be the number one rule. I think parenting is a wonderful opportunity for the parent to change themselves. It is when you have a child, I think you feel very grateful for your own parents. You also realize what went okay and not went okay in your childhood, and you can actually connect the dots. You actually see, finally, in your midlife crisis, that my childhood has shaped me. And I think if a parent can understand that their childhood has shaped them, they will be more careful with their own child.
The most common thing amongst every child nowadays is tantrums. So how can, like I have a son, he's almost 3 years. He's throwing a lot of tantrums right now. But what I need to understand is that he is also going through some emotional pain or trouble or discomfort. I need to understand him rather than saying, no, you cannot behave like this. क्या क्या कर रहे हो तुम कैसे behave कर रहे हो? So is there a universal sign for parents to understand and spot that emotional discomfort that something is wrong with my child? There is a reason why he's behaving
I
like
think
that.
if a child of 3 years old does something like this, you will quickly know because they will do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But parents often misunderstand that by misbehavior. No, you cannot behave like this.
I'm saying, have you had a tantrum? Have you felt upset?
Of course,
Yeah.
a lot of times.
Yeah. What if your husband or whoever you told you, stop behaving like this? Why are you doing this? Don't you understand? You are an adult. You shouldn't behave like this at least.
I'll be more triggered to me.
Yeah. It doesn't help, right?
Yeah, right.
So if it doesn't help with adults, it won't help with the child.
True, absolutely.
And we don't have to solve our child all tantrums. We don't have to solve for them. We just have to be there. That is all.
I mean, just a gentle hug.
Again,
Gentle parenting.
No, forget gentle parenting. I'm saying a hug always helps in life.
Yeah.
Whatever age you are, a hug always helps. And there is a scientific reason behind it because our skin is our biggest sense.
Yes.
So we feel connected if we are hugged. The thing is, we don't have to give in to all the tantrums. Tantrums are fine. They can happen. We just have to be there with the child.
All right, tell me, Harpreet, if emotion had colors, how do you think children would experience joy, anger, fear? What colors would you like to give emotions?
If we talk about emotion and talk about anger, if for an adult, anger is pink, for a child, anger is deep red, right? If for an adult, joy is, let's say, sunshine or yellow.
Yeah.
For the child, it is actually the full rainbow.
Yeah.
Children experience emotions much more deeply than adults. I think as a parent, if we understand it, we would understand children better.
Absolutely. I mean, every question you are just answering it with so much ease that I can relate. I'm sure even our audience can relate to. And as you know, kids are extremely honest. Has there been a moment that a child's honesty has taught you a lesson?
I think I can't think of anything on top of my mind. But let's say there's a 3-year-old child, he's touching his penis in public. I think that's a child being honest. Adults don't do that.
Correct.
If a boy goes to a girl, 4 years old, and says, I love you, that's a child being honest. And that honesty can teach us a lot because whatever we feel when we hear this, when we see a child touching his penis or a boy saying to a girl, I love you, is in our heads. जो भी कोई गंदगी है वो हमारे दिमाग में है, बच्चे के दिमाग में तो नहीं है. So the child is being honest. It is our turn to understand what the child is doing is out of complete honesty. And that is about it.
Amazing. So we've had some deep questions with Harpreet and the conversation has really been inspiring. Now we come to our rapid fire segment. As you know, rapid fires are simply instinctive answers which you have to give us.
We'll try.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's make it more fun and lighten up the conversation right here. Simply, what comes to your mind when I read out the following questions? Okay. One parenting myth you wish should disappear.
That ये तो बहुत मुश्किल है यार ये तो.
I'm sure there are many to burst out, but one parenting myth.
Kids are resilient.
All right. If you had to describe parenting philosophy in one word, what would it be?
Observe your children.
Observe. All right. What is more harder? Understanding kids or helping parents understand their kids?
Well, this all parents can answer. Helping parents understand kids, I think is harder.
All right. A book on parenting you swear by?
I again would go back to saying, don't go by any book. You don't need to read anything. Go observe your child. They can actually teach you everything. But if you want to pick one book, a book I genuinely enjoyed reading was a book called The Continuum Concept by Jean Lidloff.
Even you've written a book.
I've written a book, but it's called Let's Build a Company. So it won't help you with your child. It will help you if you want to build a company. Yeah.
All right. If you could give one piece of advice to all the parents, what would it be?
Be curious about your child.
One parenting practice every household you feel should adapt.
Involve children in your household.
So now we come to our last segment, which is the quest segment, and perhaps the most valuable segment of my podcast, because I personally feel that we all have a quest in life. So do you have a quest in life, and what are your top five quests?
I think all of us try to box ourselves
Right.
by saying, this is who I am. What I've realized over time is that my quests have changed. I wanted to build a company, I did that. Then I wanted to do mountaineering, then I did that. That became my quest. I wanted to write a book, I wrote that. My current quest is helping parents understand children. I genuinely feel like getting up in the morning and wanting to do that.
So are you a early riser?
I am an early riser. I would be up by 5, 6 o'clock generally. Is that early?
Yes, of course it
Okay.
is. Do you have a morning routine?
The morning routine is to go for some exercise, do some yoga. After that, drop our daughter to school. Then come back, spend 30 minutes, 60 minutes with my wife. We end up having tea, having breakfast. Then she goes off to office and I start researching on children.
Is there any quest in life you feel needs your urgent attention?
This parents understanding children, I think, needs urgent intervention. We need so many curious parents, across the world. Each one of us can convert so many other parents to be curious.
Correct.
This is urgent because I think this is the last generation that we can bring up with love. We are having single kids with digital devices. If kids are not brought up with love, 77% of Indian teenagers don't want to have kids anymore. Why is that?
They still
How
having children.
how has been their childhood that they don't want to have children? So I think this needs urgent attention. The world needs more kids.
Has your quest in life changed over time?
Like I was saying, it has changed over time. I don't want to box myself saying this is who I am. Uh, I want to wake up in the morning and genuinely feel like living and doing something. Today, I want to wake up in the morning and I feel like helping parents understand children.
Is there any quest you feel you have to achieve in the coming years?
You know, I think if we get too attached to, I have to achieve this, to expectations, it is a great way for suffering in life. If I get attached to, I want to grow my Instagram followers, great way to suffer.
Right.
So there is a wish that every parent understands their child. That wish might come true, might not come true. That is okay. But that is my wish. So I want to continue working towards that wish.
So parenting is the utmost priority, your quest in life.
My utmost priority is ensuring I have enough time for my own family. After that, whatever time I have, I want to spend helping parents understand their children.
Is there any biggest challenge that you face in fulfilling your quest, which is to help parents understand their children?
I think it is challenging
Yeah.
every day in one way or the other. There are some days when you feel, why don't parents get it? But that is also a way to reflect, to say that everybody actually has a different way of seeing the world. They have had their own childhood. When you talk to a 30-year-old and you want to talk to them about parenting, they don't see the world like you do. And they have had this 30 years of conditioning. And that actually is beautiful. It is a challenge as well as it helps me see, the millions of parents, the thousands of parents who have written to me. It has helped me see world in so many different light. It has helped me evolve and be able to see the world from other points of view. So for me, it is challenging but very rewarding.
All right, Harpreet, this has been such an incredible conversation with you. So much insight, so much wisdom, and thought provoking parenting styles. Okay, now before we wrap up, is there any handle that you would like to share with our viewers? How can they reach out to you?
No, I run a handle called the Curious Parent. Harpreet on Instagram, the Curious Parent on YouTube. Those are the two places I put content publicly, and on LinkedIn under my name. So you can message anywhere. You can follow anywhere.
Thank you for watching today's episode. And if you have enjoyed today's episode, do follow us, write a review, and share it with the ones who really need it. See you at the next episode. Until then, stay curious and keep exploring your quest.